Hi, welcome back to the Marriage Mixtape. I'm your host, Kimberly, and
My name is Travis, and I didn't choose to be here. I was forced into this, guys, but I'm here. Marriage Mixtape, episode 6.
that was so awkward. Why would you say
It was super awkward, yes. I'm
Oh my
sorry.
gosh.
Should we do it again?
No.
Are you sure? We can do it again.
Roll with it.
So we are on episode 6 here. My name is Travis. This is Kimberly. We've been married for 19 years. Mm-hmm. And I'd say most of them are happy.
Aww.
Most of them, right?
Yeah.
Would you say so?
Yeah.
Most of them have been happy.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to get happier and happier as we go along. No matter what happens, we are going to continue smiling. Mm-hmm. So last episode, we talked about kind of the time when we just met, right? 2003. Mm-hmm. And we talked about, actually, no, it was 2002. This is 2003. Yes. I'm like all off on my years.
Yeah, 2002. Now we're in 2003.
We are taking you year by year of our relationship and featuring different songs from those time periods, mm-hmm. right? And we're going to talk about different topics around that song, of what that song represents to us in our marriage. What was the song last time?
It was Mario's Just a Friend.
We got another copyright issue with this song. It's funny because it only got blocked in Russia. I don't understand why, like, out of all countries, it was blocked in Russia.
I'm good with that.
You know, it's okay. So I don't know. I mean, we've been having some trouble with playing some of the songs as far as like copyright issues. So we're going to tell you the song, and I'm actually going to read you some of the lyrics today from the song. Today's topic is 21 questions. So the song is 21 Questions from 50 Cent. This is in 2003. And this is the year that you and I really started talking, connecting, doing stuff we shouldn't be doing. No? No, we were supposed to be? No, we weren't supposed to be doing a lot of the stuff we were doing.
What?
She's like, well, what were we doing? We didn't grow up with faith. Well, I say we did, but we didn't grow up practicing. We weren't followers of Jesus. I didn't believe. You grew up Catholic. Would you say that you believed in Jesus?
I did believe there was God and Jesus. Practicing, no. I guess you could say like, yeah, I wasn't practicing, but I would go to church every Sunday until I chose not to go. And then I became a CEO. If you don't know what that is, look it up.
What's that? Well, you got to tell them.
No, there should be people who know what that is.
Okay.
I don't want to call you out.
Other people, there's another name for it. They call them creasters.
Or that. I don't know if they know what that is.
Creaster.
If you know what a creaster is, please leave that in the comments. Okay.
Oh, man. Okay. So we're taking you year by year. This is 2003. Mm-hmm. We were both working at the Woodbury Commons. You had a legitimate job. I was
going to say working.
I was hustling.
Working.
I was hustling, and you were working. I remember you went from P in the Pod to Betsy Johnson. Yeah, Betsy Johnson.
And I think I was doing both jobs. I was doing both jobs and going to school full time.
Yeah. And you were doing your dance thing at the dance studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good dance, not the other
Nobody was saying that. Nobody was thinking that. Why did you have to go there?
I don't know. Because we have a past.
Yeah.
We have a past.
I was in the dance studio, part of a dance school, because I was also doing dance in college.
Yeah.
There was my secret hidden talent.
Okay. All right. So those of you that may not remember 50 Cent 21 Questions, look, I don't even know if this will get us flagged, but like here's the intro. That's it. That's
I was gonna say, like, let's
So
just leave it at that. If you want to listen to it, that's on you.
That's on you. But here's the lyrics. The lyrics, when you look at like, when you read them in this context,
I'm assuming you had to do some editing because I was like, wait.
There's probably some. No, I think. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit we're gonna probably have to edit out, but I'll just read. So this is the chorus. Okay,
I'm
now
reading it. You're gonna have to do some editing.
The concept of this episode is 21 questions that you should ask before getting married, before getting into
a relationship,
a lifelong.
Yeah.
I mean, a relationship. And especially marriage. You were talking about lifelong commitment and actually jumping into that kind of relationship. You should ask some questions. Now, I don't think we asked each other.
No, we did not.
Any of these questions
No,
before
we did
getting
not.
married.
No. We asked other questions, nothing in the list that we created.
Yeah.
At all.
In fact, my questions probably would have sounded more like 50 Cent. Here in this song, but I would ask way different questions today. And that's what we're going to get into, the actual questions. What should you ask? If you had 21 questions, what should you ask your future life partner? Yeah?
Yeah.
Lifelong commitment. So here's the chorus. Rest in peace to Nate Dogg. Girl, it's easy for you to love me now. Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me? I think that's it. He just repeats that. Girl, it's easy for you to love me now. Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me? And look, it's clear that, like, you know, it's easy to love people when they're at their best, right? But what about when they're broke, when they're sick, when they're going through tragedy, when they are grieving, when they're frustrated, when they're upset? What do we do? Right? Can we still love one another
through all of it?
Through all of it, through the hardest times, right? And the second verse, so 50 Cent comes in on the first verse and he's like, look, girl, I got to ask you some questions. And then the second verse, he starts to ask, he says, if I fell off tomorrow, would you still love me? If I didn't smell so good, would you still hug me? Right? Now Kimberly is like a fragrance monster, right? You got in the walkway entering into our house, you got one of those candles with the little heat lamp over top of it.
Yeah.
And it's on a timer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that safe? Like, I go to bed and it's still on. I'm like, is that safe?
It's
like,
safer
yes,
than lighting a candle.
That's true. It is safe.
I mean, I've fallen asleep one time with that.
Mm-hmm. I never really wore cologne. Maybe like early on.
You did.
It wasn't like a big thing.
Maybe for you.
I stopped wearing cologne a long time ago. Do you wish that I would wear cologne?
There are times, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now that we have teenage boys and the smell of cologne, certain colognes just make my stomach turn.
Okay.
Because it's like a crazy flashback.
How about this? We're going to get just one cologne that you like, really, really like. And when you want me to put it on, just tell me.
Okay.
Because other than that, I'm never going to remember. It's not something I'm going to do.
You're still a work in progress. Really.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
If I don't smell so good, would you still hug me? If I got locked up and sentenced to a quarter century, how many years is that? For all the algebra people know, this is so bad. Quarter century is 25 years.
I was like, isn't it what
20,
it is?
25 to life, okay? Yeah. If I got locked up for a quarter century, could I count on you to be there to support me mentally, right? Year 22, are you still coming to visit?
To me, this is kind of selfish. 25 years of me supporting you mentally. Who's helping me mentally for the 25 years that I got to support you? That sounds very selfish.
Yeah. Well,
but then again, this is 22-year-old me, 21 me. That's like No, I'm not doing that. Sorry.
Well, it is funny, like from the perspective of how this is written, this song, of like how selfish all of the things are. It's like, everybody's in a relationship to get something, and if it's not right, those things aren't going to be held up, well, the relationship disintegrates. And I just think about, I just watched a really cool documentary called "Songs from the Hole" about a guy that got locked up as an adolescent. I think it was 15, committed murder, and had been in prison, I want to say for 25, 30 years or something like that, and wrote this whole album and finally got out on parole, and pretty crazy story of faith, and like his family through it all stuck with him as he made the transition. So pretty wild story. If you haven't seen Songs from the Hole, it's on Netflix. Definitely worth watching. So let's see. If I got locked up, if I went back to a hoopty from a Benz, would you poof and disappear like some of my friends?
How did I meet you? You kind of had a hoopty. It was a strange looking car I've never seen before. It was super strange.
What car did I have?
I have no idea. It was just like, to me, it was purple and long. And I was like, I don't know how to describe it. It was a purple, long
Shout to everybody
car.
back in the day that remembers the Eagle Vision. Eagle
I have
Vision.
no clue what
Eagle
vehicle this
was like one of the brands that Chrysler owned. It was like a Dodge. It was like an Eagle. They discontinued it since then, but it was the Eagle Vision. So my pops, he had a car dealership, and he owned
And
a
my
Chrysler.
car was cute.
What'd you have?
My
You had
silver Volkswagen Beetle.
Volkswagen Beetle.
1999.
That joint was made out of plastic.
No, it was not. It was 1999.
The bumper was rubber.
It was silver. It was cute. It had a daisy.
Look,
It fit my vibe.
if you got into an accident in that car, the car would crumble. Okay, in the Eagle Vision, I remember.
And I did not.
I hit a deer one time. The deer lofted up in the air. I swear, I kid you not. The deer, I feel bad. The deer lofted up in the air like 20 feet, flew over my car. I just kept on driving. My hood was bent, but there was no damage other than that.
And I did not hit a deer. I may have swerved on a deer. And my car still made it down Bear Mountain. So,
That's true.
yeah.
You're still here.
Yeah. I love my Volkswagen Beetle.
Okay.
She was cute.
If I was hit and I was hurt, I don't know what he's hit by, but I assume it's a bullet.
Yeah.
If I was hit and I was hurt, would you be by my side, right, in the hospital? If it was time to put in work, would you be down to ride? You know what work means in this song. I get. Oh well, we're gonna have to skip that part. I'm gonna go to the last one. If I ain't rap because I flip burgers at Burger King, come on, shout to all the people who are holding it down at Burger King right now. Would you be ashamed to tell your friends that you're feeling me? Right?
No, because I'd be getting free
Okay.
Whoppers.
Now look, let's talk about this. So like, I didn't have the best job when we met. I was an entrepreneur. I was hustling mixtapes, selling clothing, selling sneakers. I was selling fake watches. I was doing crazy stuff.
When you say that, automatically my mind goes to the cartoon.
Hustle.
No, the cartoon with the trench coat,
Yeah.
and you got all the watches hanging
Hey.
and all the stuff.
Yeah. Hustle man.
I mean, you did have the T-shirt and the sneakers that said it.
No, it was
very
wild.
obvious.
So I did. I lived an alternative lifestyle. Just let's say that. So at that time, were you ashamed to tell people?
I wasn't dating you.
No, but like there was a point where we were like, hey, we're together.
I don't know what I told my family. I think like people, I didn't necessarily care, but family, that's different. So I don't know what I told them. They didn't ask me. They didn't ask me what you did.
No. Nobody ever asked. I think they could just tell. They were like, something's wrong with this guy.
They were,
Kimberly, you should watch out.
I want to say my family was a little bit oblivious. Yeah.
Okay. So we hit the streets and we asked a bunch of young adults from the university, and we asked them what are the top questions that you need to ask someone before getting married. And we got a bunch of responses. Are you ready to see this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can pause it as we want to. So if you want to pause, you want to interject, we can. Okay.
Do I need to give you a signal?
No, just start talking and I'll pause it.
Okay.
Just cut the video off and I'll be like,
How about I just give you the signal, snip, snip.
okay, here we go. If you were going to commit your life to someone, what would be like the top question that you would ask? You would need to like ask.
Ooh,
like
wow.
what's like
So
in,
many.
what
Say, how do you raise your kids?
okay
And everything with the day-to-day.
parenting style?
Yeah, you got to get the daily habits in order. I mean, you can't start your day off with an argument about daily routines. I think that's got to be something that you guys have the same values on and you guys agree on.
Is your partner like emotionally ready for a marriage? Like, especially being a woman, I feel like men, this might be a stereotype, but like are less in tune with their emotions. That might be rude, but that's just like what I've noticed. So
You
I feel
hear
like,
this, fellas?
Yeah. So I feel like is
that a
your
stereotype?
partner emotionally ready to like commit to you? And
She's saying,
I hear what she's saying. I'm just thinking, okay, back then,
yeah.
it was not necessarily a stereotype. Nowadays, I think there are some men between that young man that's becoming a full-on man. I don't know. There was a shift that took place over the last 20 years of them being a little bit more in tune with their emotions. Yeah. So I would say it's a bit of a stereotype now, I feel. Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting, but okay.
Not sure. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, she's saying that men are emotionally incapable of relating to women on that level. At least at her age. Now, this is a college student speaking. So,
which is interesting because I feel like, again, there was a shift that took place like within our generation that shifted that into it's okay to talk about your emotions, to have these emotions as a man. So,
okay.
Ready to like commit to you and how you feel, and then I guess vice versa, like would I be ready for that?
Sure.
So, like when my parents die, like how are we going to go through that? Because it's like because I'm so close with my parents.
So that question, is that a question we're having like straight out the gate, or are we talking about like we're in our relationship?
Well, I think
that's a heavy question to ask.
This is before marriage. You're talking about like spending your life with someone. What are the questions that you would want to ask before making that kind of right? And maybe this is some months into the relationship.
Because I'm like, that's a very intense question.
I don't know that
I would be looking at you like, are you planning to do something? Should I call someone?
No,
what's happening?
I think it's more of like, yeah, there are first date questions or there's dating questions, but I think and maybe some of these things that we're going to talk about today can fall into the dating
already in that
season.
Relationship. That makes sense.
But then there's also, it's like, okay, we're past the dating phase and like we are going to actually start talking about marriage. What are some of the things we want? Okay. And who knows? I mean, for every couple that could be different on how fast that happens.
Right. That one just kind of was like, oh, what?
It is a pretty intense question, though. Yeah.
And the loss of them, okay, I'm not going to cry, but like the loss of them is going to like hit me really hard.
Sure.
And like, how are we going to handle that?
What would your future look like with me? Like, I feel like that kind of question would kind of like open my eyes to see like, okay, what does this person want? And does it align with what I want?
Okay.
I would want to make sure that we're on the same page with our finances. That's one of the leading causes of divorce. If you're not transparent with your finance goals, I think that that's something that's very important and something that very often becomes intertwined, with two people when they get married. And so I think if you're not transparent with that before you get married, you're going to run into some bumps along the road.
What
That
do your
is very
goals
true.
look like?
Mhm.
And like, is that like something that, I don't know, not like compromise on, but like, what is like super important to you almost? Like, getting to find out like your dreams in life, because some people's like goals are not the same.
Yeah.
So like getting to like know where like they stand
Yeah.
on just like different
That's a good
things
one.
like kids and homes and places and stuff like that. Just like getting to know their like
Places.
standards. For that.
Cool.
Probably like their finances. I know some people are afraid to talk about money, but I'm not afraid to
Finances
talk about
was-
money.
Right.
So
The number
yeah,
one.
your finances,
Well,
like what debts do you
finances and
carry and stuff
kids
like
were
that. How do you
the
feel
two
about
top
like
answers.
raising kids? Because I know some people like they believe in whipping your kids. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to raise
She
them.
says she don't believe in whooping kids.
Girl, wait till you have some.
Now I know. I remember talking to these two, both I think Congolese, so they're African. I'm like, y'all know African people whoop their kids. Come on.
Are you judging?
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Which, I mean, it also depends on what they themselves experience, where it's like, yeah, I'm choosing to say this. Once I have my kids, I'm not doing that. But things change, and you
Things
learn
do
how
change.
to you learn how to discipline. You don't discipline out of anger.
That's true, and that's something we'll probably talk about on this eventually in a future
Episodes.
episode. Yeah,
I guess I like
parenting, discipline, all that good
Because
stuff.
then we would have a conflict. Like, automatically, I wouldn't mess with that. No.
If you want to have kids,
Okay,
yeah.
the number of kids, would that matter?
If you have no, I feel like if we have the money to at the
I
time
definitely
to
was the type of person, since I could remember probably 10 or 9, I swore up and down I would never have children.
Never.
Never. I was,
Originally, you didn't want to have any kids.
I was like, just no
Really?
way. Because I was babysitting kids at 9.
That's true, but
And like I
you
had a
didn't want your
baby.
own?
I had a baby on my hip at 9 years old, and yeah. I was like, I'm not doing this. This is exhausting. I'm only 9. You know, even when by the time I was 15, I was like, I'm still not doing this. No. Seeing my friends getting pregnant too.
You're talking
at
about taking
15,
care of like your brother, your sister, your
cousins. Yeah. Like,
everybody's kids.
yeah. They were like, oh, she's old enough to babysit
because you're the
now.
oldest. You were the oldest.
Yeah.
So
And I was like, 15, seeing friends getting pregnant. I was like, I'm definitely not doing this. Yeah.
have those kids and be able to support them, I don't mind as long as it's not like 10 kids, sure, 13, but like.
So if somebody said, "Hey, 10 kids," you'd be like,
I mean, if he's a billionaire, sure. But like, I want to work
Even
too,
the
you know,
billionaires
and I don't
can't
want to
handle it.
waste my
Billionaire.
life just like
They
being
couldn't
pregnant for the
handle it
next
either.
10 years.
Do you still see yourself loving me?
I
in
think
10 years,
that's
you
the
know?
thing. People think that money equates to you being a good parent or you being able to take care of kids. And it like, sure, having money and providing for your children is important, but it's actually not the most important thing.
No, because if anything, you hear from kids who were raised in money and how neglected they were.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like either it's in you or it's not in you.
Yeah. Money doesn't make you a good parent.
No.
Or in 20 years, like, are you gonna still feel the same way that you feel about me now?
He sound
No.
like 50. He sound like he's quoting 21 Questions, the song. He's like, girl, if a, what did he say?
I missed it because you cut it off. I was still listening.
He said, would you still love me now? Or the same way you do.
Are you
the way
willing to
love me
choose
now?
us at every point if there are challenges that come up? Having an identity of us and what that means, and choosing that before other conflicts that we have and other priorities.
Yeah.
And so I think that's an important question.
Okay.
Also the kid, but like, that didn't come up
is a
in my
good
mind.
point. Are you
Just now.
willing
Well, I
to
wanna
fight
be a
for us and not fight to walk away type of thing? I think that's what he was getting at. Like,
Yeah.
are you willing to fight for us and not be like, throw your hands up and be like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, when do people turn on each other when they were supposed to be working together? When does a partnership? It almost seems like it's so quickly turned into enemies.
Yeah.
You know,
That we were.
there were moments.
The friend of my enemy is
You need
the
to stop
enemy
looking
of
at me like that.
Is that how that goes? The friend of my enemy is my enemy?
The enemy of my friend is my enemy.
Then what were you? Because we were not friends. Yeah.
We were frenemies.
Heavy on the enemy, but okay.
Mother, what if the person doesn't want to have kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
appreciate you.
much.
What do you think the purpose of life is? I'm a man of God. I want to understand, what her ethics or her morals are as well. And I feel like, I'll be able to understand that through what she thinks the purpose of life is.
Okay. So agreeing on faith would be important.
That's
for
a
sure.
huge thing.
For
Yeah.
sure. Cool.
I really value religion, so I would want to, less of a question. I would just want to make sure that we have a good agreement. Like religion's going to be the number one prioritized thing in the marriage.
One of my questions would be, do you also want to have kids? Because I feel like there's some guys out
I
there
wanna go
that
back
don't
to the
want to
faith
have a big
question.
family. And
'Cause
so
I find
that,
that
like,
really interesting because I was just watching something yesterday, watching a reunion, and pretty much all those marriages demised. And one thing that the girl was saying was, she's like, I told this person that my religion was really important to me. And they in turn told me that their religion was also important. And so we agreed that we would make, it's so weird to say that word, religion. I don't know. It's just, but anyway, that their religion would be priority in their marriage. And when
Did
they
same faith or different faiths?
I want to say it was probably the same faith. I think it was the same faith.
Okay.
But
when it came down to it,
when they actually were about to, so part of the whole thing, they ended up living together and she started to notice things. And she was like, he actually does not practice in his religion. He said he would. And she's like, I made it really strong. I made a strong point of saying, like, you need that, like, that's what I'm looking for. And when he did not show that leading up to their marriage, she was like, that's when it became a deal breaker for me. And then other things came into play. And she was able to see more and more things. And she's like, this is not the type of man I want to commit myself to.
yeah.
And was able to walk away from that. And I thought that was really interesting. And I was just like, so he told you that his religion was priority, but in fact it wasn't. And it was a priority for you. And yeah, that's big. Like,
Sure.
I'd be like, yeah, we're calling this off.
Yeah. Do you think people, because, or to maintain or sustain the relationship, they will almost just say that they agree with certain things or a certain way of life or certain values in order to like make them, it's almost like just saying yes to everything at a job interview so that you appear like the perfect candidate.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's exactly what he was doing to her. Mind you, didn't know what she looked like, but yeah. And yeah, she was like, that was ultimately the demise right there. It wasn't finding out about this. She's like, when I found out about this other thing, but to realize he's not practicing what he told me he was going to be doing.
Yeah.
Number one prioritized thing in the marriage.
one of my questions would be, do you also want to have kids? Because I feel like there's some guys out there that don't want to have a big family. And so if that like doesn't line up with what I want, then that might be a deal breaker.
Again, we never asked those questions.
Kids, or do you want to be a dad? Because there's like a very big difference in that. And so I feel like, because yes, you can have kids, and like wanting to have kids and saying that you just want to have kids, but not like specifically saying that you want to be dad is like almost like ignoring the responsibility of having children. And so like being like, I really want to be a dad, like, is you acknowledging that like you want to have the responsibility, like you want to have that
Again,
role.
I feel like that's definitely another, that goes into the next episodes of us talking about parenting, because there was a time where one of us didn't want to be a parent. So it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. I think, the number of kids, when you want to have kids, and this is something we're actually going to talk about probably heavily on our next episode, which was 2004. We're going to talk about. So, and we'll get into that. But today we actually have quite a bit to get through still for this episode. And we've come up with 21 questions that I think are very good questions. Maybe I'm missing some. You might, hey, if you have like a really, really good question that you feel like should be asked before marriage, I want you guys to put that in the comments, okay? But here's 21 questions, and these will also go into the description. You can find them in the description. But here are 21 questions that you should ask before getting married. Okay, we're going to go through these. Some of these we've already maybe even talked about a little bit, or you've heard them mentioned through the interviews on campus. So first category would be money and future. Okay, what are your individual financial habits, and how do you plan to combine or manage your money as a couple, which also includes debt? Do you have debt? How are we going to manage debt, finances, saving, retirement, all those things together? Or do we do it separately, right? Do we have a joint account? Do we have separate accounts? Every couple is different, but I think those things are pretty clear that it should be talked about before.
Right, because I'm thinking like from seeing the marriages within my own family, that was not something that was discussed. So I think I was pretty unaware that you could have a joint account. But initially we kept our accounts separate.
Yeah.
We didn't join accounts until like years later.
Yeah. And we've had a lot of challenges financially, some due to me, some due to you. We've had just struggles financially over the years. If anything, like that seemed to be one of like the touchiest subjects for us, especially I'd say like 10 years ago. It was like really, really like touchy and sensitive. So, and even as Christians, like we had to relearn like money and all of these different things and how do we live as kingdom citizens in that way. So, number 2, what are your long-term financial goals? Buying a house, retirement? I think that goes into that first question, but I think, how are you going to manage it? Is it going to be separate, joint? But then also like, well, what does
a savings account look like?
Or what's our investments? Like what kind of investments do we want to do? Because I believe marriage is a covenant between us and God, but there's also legally we're coming into a partnership in a business, right? So like our family, it's run like a family, but there are business aspects to that, especially if you're going to own a business together. I know that there's lots of couples that own businesses, and so there's a lot of like legal things around that, you know?
How do you feel about prenups or other legal agreements?
There we go.
I mean, if you're not well versed in that, that's not something you would necessarily bring up if it wasn't brought up to you either. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have thought of that particular question in us eventually getting married to think like we need a prenup. Because usually when you think of a prenup, you're thinking of somebody who's super wealthy and you've got to get a prenup. Like you have to, that person needs to protect their assets and da-da-da-da. Well, come to find out, prenups don't necessarily mean wealthy. Prenups can also be where you have an agreement when it comes to certain things. I don't know all the legality of it, but I just know that it is to protect certain things, certain investments and things like that when you're getting into a relationship and of that nature.
I mean, there could be prenups that benefit both parties involved. I mean, the idea, I don't think people get married with the intention of getting divorced. Right. However, there are some traps that are happening.
Yeah.
I saw a YouTube video of this guy. He had built a business before he got married, and the business was probably worth probably close to $1 million. He had lots of different assets. I believe he owned a home. So there was like a large sum of money and success that was accomplished before they got together. So now they're about to get married and he loves her. He's like, I love you. I don't intend to get divorced. Like, this is a lifelong commitment. However, these things were attained
prior to.
Now, anything that we grow this into, you're absolutely, this was his point that he was trying to make. He was like, you are absolutely, I guess, entitled to what we grow this into from this point forward. However, what I've built up to this point, we have to have a prenup, because if 6 months from now, all of a sudden you decide that you don't want to be married to me anymore, well, I'm not going to give you half of everything that I've
already
worked for. So that's kind of like, I think for a lot of men, especially successful men, that's kind of the challenge. And it'd be different if it wasn't happening, like women weren't doing that, but it's happening pretty often where
I would have to say it's happening to women as well who have created businesses as well. You want me to list names? Do you got names of these men?
I can give you it. Okay.
But I'm saying there are successful women who have done the same thing, and
statistically it happens way more on the other side. I'm not saying it doesn't happen to women, or it couldn't happen to a woman.
Right.
But I'm saying statistically, this is way more happening.
Then I guess like my
side.
question would be too, like, because seeing certain situations where I've been seeing like these married couples where they get into these financial scamming issues, and it's usually the spouse that was doing it. And so it's like, how do you protect yourself from that? Like, is there a prenup for that, or legal agreement? Like, if he did something, that does not mean I'm his Bonnie to his Clyde, that I was along with the ride.
Right. I don't want to be an accomplice in your criminal activity. I need a prenup from what your shady lifestyle.
Seriously, because I've been seeing a lot of that on the news. But okay.
Okay. Let's see.
I think that should be a question too. It's not on here, but I'm going to throw that in there. What criminal activity are you currently a part of? Because I need to know right now so I can decide stay or go.
Yeah. Do you have a criminal? Actually, this should be on there. Right. Do you have a criminal record?
Which I assume most people do. I do not. But still, it's good to know, because don't make me go down through my detective ways to find out what really took place with you and whoever you're hanging around.
Yeah. I mean, there's a big difference between
forthcoming or withholding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Be forthcoming or withholding.
How do you feel about one partner being the primary breadwinner?
I guess it depends on who is the...
Sure. I know everybody's different.
Yeah.
And in our culture, actually, it's, almost become a necessity to have two incomes in order to live the quote unquote American dream. Right? So it's like, it's almost, I think a lot of couples are coming into marriage thinking like, oh yeah, the traditional marriage of where the husband works and the wife is taking care of the home and actually doing that is almost like it's non-existent. It doesn't even exist like in their frame of possibilities. I think it is possible, but I don't know that young couples still think that way, or that that's even possible for them to survive.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think. Yeah, I feel like that would be a struggle. Because if we're talking young couple and we're thinking our oldest age and a little bit older, right? So it's like their parents' home life could be different, where mom and dad were out of the home. And so cleaning was that kid cleaning the home, and doing all those, the quote unquote,
to have a latchkey kid is, I don't know, I just feel like it's just not healthy for the family structure. I'm looking at like I'm looking at health, like not maybe like, look, you got to do what you got to do. Like if it's between like you guys not being able to afford food or be able to afford your house, then yes, you should work. However, like the sacrifice of your kid not having to be latchkey, I think is actually really important for like the healthy growth of a family?
Okay, we could talk more about that on the next episode.
Oh my goodness. We will get to some of these topics. You can see how we're already like,
I'm just
Number
staying
5.
on course. Okay, I'm not trying to
we're gonna transition from money and future to family and values. Family and values. You want to read that one?
Yeah. How will you handle disagreements with each other's families?
Why is that an important question?
On how you communicate with your other person's family members.
What if you don't like the other family? Like, what if, I mean, we've had challenges with your side of the family. We've had challenges with my side of the family. I'm not going to say like we're all one big happy family, because we're not, right? But how do we handle those disagreements? Because really you are joining two families together, and that's a big deal. So.
And I mean, yeah, it was ideal in the beginning until, just a whole lot of things took place, and I don't know. I think you get along where you fit along. I don't know. Is that how it goes?
No, that's not a thing.
What's the saying? You get in where you fit in.
You say get along where you fit along.
I don't know. I don't know. I think when it comes to disagreements within the family, one, don't get yourself wrapped up in that drama. Two, be Switzerland and step back. Like, you can hear from
Switzerland.
You can be able to hear from all sides, and but you don't have to go and side with one or the other.
Well, think about what are the. You know what? There's nothing in here about politics, but this is probably like religion and politics are probably the two things that would create divisions within families. And it's like you have different faiths, different political beliefs, and different conversations that can happen at Thanksgiving or different holidays.
I mean, too, like you throw in the dynamics of like, okay, different family members, different personalities, and outgoing personalities, introverts, just non-social verbal people who just blink. I mean, I don't know.
You're pretty non-social.
Yeah. I'll stare at you through your soul.
As someone who is more introverted, what are your expectations for holidays and traditions? So this goes back to also like, is at holiday, is politics and religion off limits?
Yeah. Do you want 911 to be dialed?
We have some like light political conversations at the table with the kids, and they like start to freak out because they think that like we're about to
World War III is about to erupt in the home.
Yeah. It's always like, guys, please stop. Please stop. please stop. So do you want to have children? And if so, how many and when? That was obviously a clear, important question to some of the younger people.
Something we did not discuss.
Maybe we did.
No, we did not.
I think like I was always like, oh, I want 2 kids. I want a boy and a girl, and that's it.
No, we never got that deep. I don't know who or what you're talking about, because that was not you.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 8.
What? What'd you say?
Number 8. What are your individual parenting styles? We should people should talk about this. Absolutely, we should talk about this. I think for us, we had to develop and learn what our parenting style was because we both experienced this. And part of it is that you should be talking about, if you're a potential lifelong partner, you should be talking about the parenting style that they grew up with, and do they like it, or are there things that they would change from the way that they were raised or the way that they were disciplined?
Yeah, because to say like what would be your, like to automatically say like you know what your parenting style is, I don't think you know. If you don't have children, you don't know. It's easy to say, oh, I'm going to be a gentle parent, or I'm going to be a strict parent. Here comes this child and
until little Timmy comes in with flour all over the floor.
No offense to whoever Timmy is and
Sorry,
did
Timmy.
that.
Sorry, Timmy.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's just so easy to say when you're young or even older and you haven't had children yet. It's so easy to say, I'm going to parent this way. And it's like, bruh, no.
And I would say that specifically around parenting together, I think it would be great to tap into some really good books. If you want a really good one, there's Danny Silk wrote Loving Your Kids on Purpose. That one's really good. There's another one over there on the bookshelf. I can't remember what it was called. I think it's called Grace-Based Parenting. That's a really good one. I forgot who wrote it. But yeah, parenting style is important.
Yeah. Number 9, what role will faith or spirituality play in your marriage?
It goes back to what you were saying is like, are people being genuine about their faith? Like, it's such like a flippant thing to say of like, yeah, I'm religious. I believe in God, but you don't practice or talk to God or read you don't do none of this stuff. You barely go to church, you know?
Like I said, she noticed the major red flag and she was like, well, you said this, now this makes sense why A, B, C, D, E, F, G is coming up, and you're just not. You're not the person I thought I was going to marry.
Yeah. I think this is probably one of the most important things that people really hash out is when we say faith, are we talking about the same thing? And what is our faith journey going to be like moving forward?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to move on to the...
I just want to say something to that. If you're with someone and you're not praying now before you don't pray together. I mean, like actually pray, not a hold hands and say grace prayer. I'm talking about like if you don't
still need to hold hands if you're praying together.
Yeah, but I'm
Lock
saying
it in.
if you're in a relationship and you're not praying together now, don't think that just because you get married that all of a sudden you're going to start praying together later. It has to be something that you see and begin to practice beforehand. Yeah.
Moving on to the next subtopic, life and death.
This one's a little heavier.
Yeah.
So these are some of those questions that
you should.
These are definitely not first, second, or third date questions, but they could be month 4, 5, or 6 type questions. Or, you're deeper into the relationship and like, hey, here's some things that like life won't always be good. And how are we going to handle that?
Yeah.
Number
10. What if one of you gets sick? How will you handle this and who will help you get through it? And I feel like we've talked about this from time to time, and it's always been a hard one to say like who would be that backup if we needed that backup. It's just been a challenging one.
Do you have community, whether locally or even someone in the country, like if something drastically changed in your lives where you needed support, is there someone that would actually come and support you? I think those are huge questions. And even to include, like, you're not just marrying a person, you are, again, joining families together. And it's like to know what kind of support system or how the family would even respond in situations like that. Yeah.
Number 11, how would we handle the loss of loved ones in our family?
Yeah. What does grieving look like?
Yeah. I think early on was when we lost your grandfather. Well, actually, no, when I lost my grandfather.
You lost your grandfather.
And we weren't even like established really in our relationship, but yet you showed up somehow.
I was supportive.
Yeah, from a distance.
I feel like it's really bad to say it, but I think like that was like a vulnerable time for you. And it was kind of like me saying like, oh, this will be an opportunity for me to get closer to her. And I genuinely was supportive of you, but I think my intentions were not
good intentions.
Yeah.
And then I feel like since then, you know, there's been other family losses. Yeah, I feel like we've lost a couple of people within our own family, and just kind of like,
yeah, like uncles on my side, a few
yeah,
people,
just
yeah.
uncles.
So nobody like super close. I guess like yeah. You know, all of our parents are still alive. Praise the Lord. But you know, we're 43 now. Our parents are 60, 70-ish, like ranging in that time frame, in that area. Your grandmother is getting older and older. So it's like, yeah, in those situations where we lose people, how are we going to deal with that? How do we grieve? And almost like, this is even something I feel like we should be thinking about now, is that in cases where we lose someone, do we have the finances set aside to travel, to do these things? Like those are kind of emergency things. In some cases you can plan for it because you can kind of get a feel of like where people are at health-wise. Are we prepared to deal with those things? Or is it going to be a shock and we're going to have to scramble to, you know?
Yeah. So that goes along with that question. It's just like being able to prepare. Because I feel like 12 to me is not as important, but that second part of what you said should be number 12, of like setting up the finances in the event of having to go be with loved ones, or being with loved ones as a couple. Yeah, as a couple. Because I'm thinking, okay, this is as a couple, not us.
Right. Let's go 13.
Yeah.
So this is going to transition to communication and conflict as another category. We're going to get to the spicy stuff in a minute here. Number 13, go ahead.
The way you set this up, very interesting.
Spicy.
The fighting and the makeup. Interesting. Number 13, how do you handle disagreements? Do you fight fair? Do I fight fair?
And this ties into communication styles as well, but like, how do you handle disagreements? Are you anti-confrontation?
Are you reactive?
Are you reactive? Yeah. Are you a good
explosive?
Are you explosive? Wow.
Yeah.
Are you a good listener? Do you fight fair? Yeah. Like when you are in a disagreement or argument, are you trying to win the argument, or are you trying to win the relationship?
Are you trying to be listened to, or are you trying to be heard?
I remember somebody once said to us, you shouldn't ask, can we go talk? You should ask, can we go listen to one another? Right? If we would rephrase, it's, I think, still the same action, but our heart is already.
Yeah, because I know hearing "can we go talk," I'd be like, that would be my initial reaction.
Dang.
Like,
yeah. Well, it sounds like I'm going to be listening to what you have to say, right?
Seriously.
But if we go in saying that we're going to listen to one another, I think it reframes the conversation.
Yeah. And if you are the type of person that doesn't respond by speaking, this is where it doesn't need to be fiery coming from the other person. This is where an actual conversation takes place. It can be a heated conversation, but it doesn't need to be like a full-blown argument where it's like, I'm not responding to none of that.
Yeah.
It's going to be quiet. Like, say what you want.
Communication styles. Are you passive, aggressive, or assertive? Or are you passive aggressive?
Are you aggressive and a little bit passive?
Yeah. Or do you respond differently? Are you passive in certain situations and then aggressive or assertive? And I do think that assertive is confident communication. It doesn't always mean it's the loudest person in the room, but it is someone that is confident in their love. Does that make sense? I think, and that's really where good communication
I
comes
think,
from.
yeah, because with that, don't take your volume up an octave. The moment you take that volume of yours up an octave, oh, you're yelling. So now we're
An
going to
octave
be
like this?
Yeah, yeah. We'll be going back and forth, Mike Tyson. Okay?
Don't yell in higher octaves. Number 15. What are your expectations for alone time versus time together? I think this can be really helpful for certain couples.
When we were first dating, I should have been like, I'm gonna let you know now. I prefer alone time at least 8 times a day.
8 times a day. Yeah. She's like, I don't want to be touched. Physical touch is not my love language. And that's what we're going to get into next is also what are your love languages, right? Your expectations. Are you introvert or extrovert? How do you receive love? Those are all like really, really good questions about like communication and how you relate to people. So
yeah,
you should have told me. You were like, I want gifts, and I want more gifts.
I am not that shallow.
And then I want you to help me do this. And then I want you to spend a little bit of quality time with me and then let me be alone.
Sounds like a great partnership. You want to sign this prenup right
yeah,
now?
Yeah, this is the prenup. You need to abide by this kind of social reaction, and that's it.
Yep. Take it or leave it.
Okay.
What are your boundaries with friends, and how will you protect your couples?
I think it's couples time. So it's like
I was like, wait, what? Let me repeat that. What are your boundaries with friends, and how will you protect your couple when it comes to your friends trying to intervene in that?
Yeah, like is there a balance between having friends around? Maybe you have friends that I don't like, and I have friends that you don't like, and it's like, well, do we, like as couples, like is that like, oh, that's your friends? And this is actually challenging. I think when you get together, it's like, do my friends become your friends and vice versa? Or like, are these separate things? It's like you go and hang out with these people because these are your people, but I'm not always there. And then like, is there a boundary where like,
I feel
those
like
are some social dynamics.
Right. If your friends never really liked the person that you were with, then yeah, that's when it's going to get awkward. And it's like, yeah, I'm going out, but you never invite your significant other. I feel like that's a little bit weird. But if it's already been established where my friends are now your friends, and yeah, there may be certain instances where we're going out to do certain things that may not include you coming, but there should be the opportunity where your significant other is going on these group outings. There should be a healthy relationship.
Especially early on, but I mean, maybe you get to a point where you're like, dang, like we don't all get along and I need to protect. The marriage becomes the priority, you know? And I think you have to protect that. So,
and then that's when a whole lot of evaluation comes into play, and sometimes friends fall off that weren't really friends when you get into your marriage. Okay. And that's just life cycle.
I'm gonna read 18, but we're gonna skip it just because for time's sake, I want to get into these last few ones. We're at an hour right now. How will you divide household responsibilities? How will you divide household responsibilities? That's important to talk about. Create a chart, assign it. No, don't create a chart.
Or be a teacher. Use your teacher voice and say, "I told you to take out that trash. Did I not?" Okay.
I thought I told you. Number 19, nobody wants to talk about this. But I think
I was like,
is this one of those questions? I'm going to say the question in a minute.
We're getting into the intimacy of things.
Yeah. Is this one of those questions that you just shouldn't ask? And I think it is one of those questions that you should be comfortable asking. And I mean, I'm thinking about my kids. Like, for one, we teach them that marriage and sex is holy, and that it should be preserved, right, for one relationship, even though we weren't following Jesus, right? We did not follow this at all. But I would hope that in like the health of faith and spirituality and family and right, that they would do this. It's like, no, they should be able to ask this question. So the question is number 19, how many sexual partners have you had? And the statistics actually show that if a woman has had a certain amount of sexual partners, that the likeliness of divorce is higher. And the more that goes up, it goes higher and higher. And then if a woman or someone has been divorced, they're actually more likely to get divorced again. Does that make sense? Statistically, it shows that these things are true.
Interesting.
Whether you agree with it or not, I'm just going off of like numbers, right? Numbers and facts, percentages. So do you think like how many sexual partners? Do you think like a couple, they're dating, they're in their 20s? Do you think that's a question that is valid?
Yes.
Because it's also touchy, it's sensitive for some people.
Well, I feel like, yes, it should. It should. This day and age and all the things that are out there that we've been taught about. And if you haven't been taught about that, I feel sorry for you. But it's important because it just shows, I don't know, it is, to me, it's important. And at the same time, it's not for boasting, is that how you say it? Boasting. It's more so, from a health point standpoint, and to know what was your connection to those people. And for me, it's like I'm getting a full read on, if I'm asking that one question, then I'm asking multiple questions, and I'm going to get a full read of who you are, where you are, especially in your faith. And I know there'll be some people that would withhold that,
Well, that's the thing, is will people be honest
and try to give it,
when
knock
you
it down or
ask?
something.
Yeah.
And
that's the challenge.
And that, my dear, that would be setting you up for major failure, because I feel like the truth will eventually come out, and it's not going to be healthy in the long run to hold on to a lie versus just being truthful about it.
Well, part of it is also like, what sexual practices do you have from previous relationships that you're bringing into this marriage, right? Or this relationship. And I think we've grown up in a culture where it's like, test drive before you buy. And like, that is so far from the truth of like what it should be and what God's intention is for sex and marriage. So it's like, and then people will try and lie about the mileage on a vehicle to maintain its value.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a lot of lemons.
I'm just going to leave that right there. Number 20, and we almost done.
How much is too much? What would our sex life look like in 10 years from now?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit lost on that question, not going to lie.
How much is too much? Meaning like, and this is something we've talked about at different times, but in a week or in a month, how much is too much?
Oh, okay. Now I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, I think every couple is different as far as like their sex drive and what they would want and what they, right? How much is too much? I think that's something that you should talk about. And also like,
you should also say too, not only how much, but how little is too little.
Right. What's healthy for us as a couple to engage with each other sexually, right? Even after kids, even after we're done having kids, it's like, I think for human beings and the gift of sex that God has given human beings is that it's more than just having kids. Like, it's also for reproduction, but it's like there's more to it, right? So, yeah, and like even thinking about that, like we we dream and talk about our financial future, well, why wouldn't you also talk about what your sex life might look like 10 years from now?
That's a big time span to have to think about.
I get that. I mean, in the future, I mean, you could rephrase the question however you want to. It's just like,
if anyone has a brain like mine, that's way in the future.
Well, people plan 20 years ahead for finances.
I doubt they're planning about their sex life in 20 years.
That's why it's a good question, though.
Okay.
Because people don't plan for it. They don't talk about it. Of like, what does this
Talking,
look like?
Yes.
What do we want
are
this
we
to...
actually putting this in a calendar?
It's hypothetical.
This might be somebody's actual reality. I don't know.
It's
can't
hypothetical,
think like that.
though. We're not talking about this in like, in 10
You
years,
say hypothetical,
this is what it's going to be.
But this could actually be somebody's mindset. And I'm like, it's not my mindset.
Okay.
21.
Last one.
Yes.
This is important.
Is there anything in your past that you might need therapy for? Is there anything in your past that you might need therapy for?
Do you have trauma that is undealt with? Do you have things that have happened to you or around you that you need healing from and that will affect your marriage long term?
And I definitely did need that. I needed therapy. I think I had 2 forms of therapy with things that I thought that I dealt with, but when you think you've dealt with something, it was more so stuffing.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean by stuffing, like being able to just push it down, and I'm like, it's fine. It won't bother me. And it ended up bothering me, and it ended up emerging itself in our marriage, and realizing, okay, I need to stop stuffing and stop acting as if I have it all the way together. There's something I need to deal with.
Yeah.
And sought some help, and it released, I would say, like the first layer of things.
Sure.
Was when I went to do the sozo.
Yeah.
That definitely released like the first layer. I think I may have...
And you went to counseling a little bit.
Yeah, I did counseling and then did therapy. And that, I feel like it helped even more so. But there's nothing, I don't believe there's anything wrong with seeking help.
Yeah.
As long as it aligns with your beliefs. There are some therapists that don't necessarily align with everyone's beliefs. And that was one thing that I was looking for. And I was making sure I was looking for the right person for who I am.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think that even to go with this question, a good question would be is that if we experience something really hard, are you willing to go to therapy? Like, do you think therapy or counseling? What would be our plan for counseling? What if we come into a hard place in our relationship and we actually need a mediator? Are you open to that? And I think that's like something to definitely talk about like early on, and it's a good question to ask beforehand.
Yeah.
So,
and definitely don't sweep it under the rug, because you don't want to have to pull that out and be like, well, you said, you know what I mean? Like, it's either you're going to be consistent with it and really see it work through whatever you need to on your own or as a couple.
Yeah.
Whatever you and the therapist or counselor decide on how to move forward, and stick with it.
Yeah.
Stick with it.
It's good. Well, I hope that these questions help either couples that are already married or couples that are thinking about getting married, and that these are, just really helpful, maybe making people think about questions
to ask
that they didn't think of before, of like, hey, that actually is pretty important.
Because these should have been questions we had with one another before saying yes.
Yeah.
And before saying, yes, I want to marry you, before sitting on a couch watching a basketball game saying, hey, you want to get married? These should have been the questions. These should have been the questions. Yeah.
Would you love me if I was down and out?
I did.
You did.
I did.
You did. All right. Well, yeah, just pray for everybody out there. I hope that, I hope that you guys are blessed by these conversations. If you have any topics or suggestions about the podcast, leave that in the comments. Make sure that y'all subscribe. I feel like I should be looking in the camera. Make sure y'all subscribe. And again, if there's any questions that we missed that you feel like should be in the comments, leave that down below. And we'll see you guys next week for episode 7. No, 7.
Oh,
this
seven.
is 6.
6, 7.
6. Dang. You just.
Yeah.
Okay, we're out of here.
Bye.
Bye.